Today we're going to look at the Source Audio TrueSpring Reverb. Let's check it out. All right, let's get right down to it. The TrueSpring Reverb is one of the one series of Source Audio pedals, and that means there's a lot of features packed into a small footprint. As you can see, there are stereo ins and outs. There's a USB port, so you can connect it to your computer. There is also an 1/8 inch jack that allows you to attach an external tap control switch, or you can hook it up to your smart device, your iPhone, Android, tablet, whatever, and control it through the Neuro app. But all of those features don't really mean a thing if the basic operation and sound of the pedal isn't good. So we're going to check out the spring reverb tones and the tremolo tones. Yes, this pedal does spring reverb and tremolo together. It's pretty cool. So here is my unaffected tone. So I've dialed up just a little bit of grit because this guitar has P90 style pickups, and P90 style pickups and spring reverbs, hey, they can go together pretty well. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and engage the TrueSpring Reverb. As you can see, the 4 knobs are all set to about noon. And those 4 knobs are, top left is mix, top right is level. So that is the overall level of the pedal. So you can kind of get it even with your dry tone. The lower left is dwell, and we'll see what that does. And the lower right is tone, which is essentially a low pass filter or a high cut filter. Maybe that's a better way to say it. So you can roll off the high end with that. In the middle, you've got 3 types of spring reverbs. The first type we're going to check out is called short, and that is when that 3-position switch is to the left. Here's what that sounds like, again, with everything set to noon or straight up. Yeah, so it's kind of your classic spring reverb tone, isn't it? And if you're listening on headphones or stereo speakers, you'll hear a stereo image, which is really nice. A lot of pedals, in my experience, that do spring reverbs are mono in nature, which kind of makes sense because your classic spring reverb is on a guitar amp, which is a mono signal source. But it's really nice to have a stereo image available. All right, let's bring that tone down. And check this out. Okay, it's a little mellower. Let's bring it up. So it gets a lot sharper, right? So let's check out the dwell. When it's to the left, counterclockwise, here's what we get. Let me bring it all the way up so you can hear the difference. Whoa, sorry about that. So you can hear, the dwell is not really the length of the reverb, the decay. It has more to do with the overall fullness of the reverb. Okay, so I'm going to put it back in the middle. And I'm going to bring the mix down to maybe a level that I would more normally use in a real performance. That is a nice sounding spring sound. I think it's a nice sounding spring reverb sound. All right, so What I want to do now is try it with a little bit of delay. It's off camera, but I've got a Source Audio Nemesis set up to a tape delay. All right, and if I combine that tape delay with the spring reverb, I'll bring the reverb up a little bit. Here's what I get. I like that a lot. It's a really dreamy sound. So that spring reverb just kind of fills in the delay. Right, there's just the spring reverb. And it's not a particularly hi-fi sound. To my ear, it's more lo-fi, what I would call lo-fi. But when you combine it with the delay, man, it just, And for those of you who don't realize it, that was a volume pedal there, also off camera. Let's go ahead and try the long reverb type. That's when the switch is in the middle. Dwell all the way up. Yeah, that's a lot, isn't it? Dwell all the way down. Now I'm going to bring that mix down because with the long reverb type, it can definitely get muddy. That's kind of nice though. It is big, it's kind of full sounding, but if you let it ride underneath your dry guitar tone, it's kind of nice. Yeah, and let's go ahead and combine some delay with that, again from the Nemesis. Let me bring, here's the reverb all the way down, so it's just the Nemesis delay. Now, let me bring that reverb in to about 25%. Can you hear how it fills in between the delay repeats? Very, very nice. I like that quite a bit. All right, I've got all the knobs straight up and down in the middle, and I've got the reverb type set to tank. Let's check that out. Yeah, there's more high end than the long reverb type for sure. Let's bring the tone up all the way and see how sharp we can get it. Yeah, pretty sharp. Let me bring that back down. And let's bring the dwell all the way down. Dwell all the way up, just so you can hear the contrast. And again, if I bring it down to maybe a more realistic level where I might use it, here's what we get. I like that a lot. That, to me, this reverb type, tell me what you think in the comments below, but this reverb type has a little bit more of a room sound to it. It's obviously still a spring reverb model, but it's more roomy sounding, if that's a thing. And let's go ahead and add that Nemesis delay in there and see what we get. next up is tremolo. Remember, I said this thing also does tremolo. So there are no separate controls for tremolo. Some of the knobs and the switch in the middle have secondary functions to activate and adjust the tremolo tones. In order to do that, there's a little button on the front of the pedal called the control, I think it's control input button. You simply press that in, hold it, and then twist the knobs and flip the switch to engage the tremolo. So I've got it set right now to the first tremolo type, which is called opto. So this would model kind of a classic optical tremolo circuit. Here's what that sounds like. I think that's a pretty good sounding model of an optical circuit. I played a few optical units way back in the day, and this does remind me of what my brain remembers of those units. And of course, as you would expect, you've got the tremolo speed and depth. Let me adjust it. So I brought the depth up and the speed down. Let's see what that sounds like. Yeah, kind of nice. Now, here's one cool thing. I can bring in my spring reverb and combine it with the tremolo. Oh yeah, that's kind of nice. Now, check out some Nemesis delay with that. Oh yeah, that's pretty dreamy sounding. All right, second tremolo type. It's called harmonic, and Source Audio says that you can get phase shifter types of effects with it. All right, let me go ahead and turn the depth all the way up, and I'm going to turn the rate down, which is kind of the way I set up phase shifters. Yeah, it's a little phase shifty. Let's add some reverb in there. How about some delay into the mix, and let's see what it does in terms of the phase shifting effect. Let me do some volume swells here. Very nice. The third tremolo type is called bias, and Source Audio says this models modulating bias in tubes, vacuum tubes in an amplifier's circuit. And they say it also adds harmonic distortion into the tone. Now, so here's what it sounds like with my current guitar setup. Let me go ahead and clean up the guitar signal, and let's see if we can hear some harmonic distortion going on. Now, I can hear that a little bit. Let me bring up the depth of the tremolo. Yeah, you could hear it there pretty well. Yeah, so I've got the volume up here in the studio, maybe a little bit more than you might with your laptop or whatever. But if you've got headphones or good speakers, you can probably hear that harmonic distortion. All right, I'm going to bring in some spring reverb. I also re-engaged the grit on my guitar tone just to keep it consistent with the other examples. Here we go. Cool. Let's go ahead and add a little bit of delay in there and see what we get. So those are the basic functions of the pedal as it comes out of the box. I did mention the Neuro app. I've only begun to plumb the depths of that app. That allows you to pull up many different spring reverb models and many tremolo models. So you've got tons and tons of options. This pedal will get you some pretty cool spring reverb sounds. And if you've got a delay in your signal chain and you want to mix it in with reverb and tremolo, this thing's got you covered. It is pretty dang cool. Now don't go yet. I've got a playlist here of Source audio pedals that I've demoed here on the channel. I'd love it if you would check out some of their great sounding gear. Also subscribe. Please subscribe. And as always, I'll see all of you on the next video.